Hello and welcome into today's edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider Podcast. My name is Kevin Hicks and I am your lead beat writer for Arizona State Sun Devils on SI. And I am happy to report, as all of you are very likely to be in the loop of, that the Arizona State Sun Devils opened the season with a 38-19 victory over the Northern Arizona Lumberjacks on Saturday night at Mountain America Stadium in Tempe. And obviously, the Sun Devils are 1-0. They are likely to get a spot in the top 10 of the Week 2 AP poll as Alabama lost on Saturday afternoon and as Miami could lose later this Sunday afternoon. So, Arizona State, there were positives and negatives to take out of the game. It obviously wasn't a seamless victory, and the 6 of those points were scored in garbage time. So realistically, Northern Arizona only scored 13 points. But I predicted a 56-10 victory. I will be fully transparent with that. The Sun Devils should have dominated that game, and they very well could have, if not for some operational issues that we will touch on shortly. But before we get started in today's episode, please follow me on X/Twitter, Daily Drill, at KHicks_21. Your support means the absolute world to me, and I could not do it without you, and I can't stop saying that. You are vital to what I do. And let's get today's episode started. So I kind of wanted to take the good, bad, and ugly angle to things. So let's start out with the ugly. Let's get the bad stuff out of the way first. This one's not really an issue with play. It's injuries. Obviously, Max Ayenakor and other offensive linemen came out of the game. I believe it was Josh Adkins was the first player to come out, the left tackle, and then I believe that Kyle Scott, I want to say Ben Coleman also. It wasn't pretty on the offensive line as a whole, but the injuries really put a damper on things as well. I believe that they're just minor issues because I think everybody that got injured during the game came back in, but it's something to monitor over this week ahead of the Mississippi State game. Let's go to the offensive line as a whole. The performance, very ugly performance. I believe I counted 6 false start and holding penalties combined. There was a point in the third quarter in which Relief Brown caught an over 70-yard touchdown that got called back off of a holding. And then the very next play, Malik McLean, I believe 50 plus, in the range of 50 to 60-yard reception, which would have been the longest reception of the day, the longest passing play of the day for the Sun Devils, that got negated by an illegal player downfield. Those are just things that you can't afford in any game, and to have a sloppy performance against Northern Arizona in that avenue isn't the most encouraging thing. I just have to be honest with that. I was talking about harping down on the fact that they need to have a clean game operationally, no silly penalties, no turnovers, and they did hold on to the ball for the most part. But the offensive line did not really hold up its end of the bargain, and Sam Levitt really had to run for his life a lot more than anybody would have liked him to. So that's something that Kenny Dillingham, Saga Tuateli, and the rest of the staff is going to have to figure out in the next week or so. That's really the only ugly thing that I encountered from the game. I guess it's operational issues as well. I think Sam Levitt took 3 delay of game penalties during the course of the night as well. So that's something that possibly could fall under ugly, is just penalties, messy play, offensive line. Those are the 3 things that I can really zone in on. As for the bad, I don't really know if I consider this bad per se. but the defense gave up roughly 350 total yards to the Lumberjacks, and that's not necessarily a bad thing when you take into context that a lot of the Lumberjacks a lot of the damage that the Lumberjacks accrued was when they had no dog in the race. They weren't going to win the game. They were just out there trying to get better and prepare for FCS play. That's really all I can say when I talk about that, because there were a lot of good defensive performances individually, and the defense held up several times in key situations. They got a lot more intense live reps than one might have guessed that they would have received. So that's really the only thing that I have there. Now let's get to the good. Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson, the very debatably best duo in college football, returned with an absolute resounding statement performance for both in the 2025 season opener. Jordan Tyson, 12 receptions, 141 yards, and 2 touchdowns, including an unbelievable catch late in the game to put the Sun Devils at 38 points, and that is where they finished the night. Coach Dillingham, after the game, alluded to the fact that the way the Northern Arizona Lumberjacks game plan allowed for Tyson to have that game, it wasn't really a plan to force feed him. But I said that in my keys to the game, that they needed to get to him early and often, and that's exactly what they did. The exotic packages that the Lumberjacks throw at opposing offenses, the really unconventional approach disallows them to double team a receiver, and it's only natural for the Sun Devils to take advantage of that mismatch. It would be a mismatch even if Tyson was being doubled, because there's a Malik McLean who made an incredible catch, like I said, that got called back. There's a Jaron Hamilton and Jalen Moss. Those two didn't make much of a statement last night, but we know that's only a matter of time before they have their moments. And Sam Levitt, he did throw an interception, but otherwise he was very decisive. He was obviously great when it comes to improv. That's something that ASU fans have become accustomed to seeing. He showed off his incredible athletic ability with a 52-yard run. That might be one of the best plays of the entire day of college football on Saturday. The pocket collapsed on him quickly. He evaded a couple of pressuring defenders. He decided to take off, and it was over after that. He has incredible athleticism. He's incredibly intelligent. He had, for the most part, pinpoint accuracy. Not a lot to harp on for Sam Levitt. He graded himself at a C+ in terms of performance, and I would vehemently disagree with him. I would say that was an A- performance, and he was one of the best performing quarterbacks in terms of the guys that are considered at the very top of the position going into the season. He probably had one of, if not the best performance out of those guys, including a Kay Klubnik of Clemson, Garrett Nussmeier of LSU. Arch Manning, he performed better than all of them, regardless of opponent. So let's finish up today's episode, and I wanted to do so by shouting out Raleek Brown and Kyson Brown, the two backs that are purported to be the replacement to Cam Scadaboo, who is now off to the NFL. Both had phenomenal games. Kyson Brown ran for 73 yards, received 72 yards through the air, was second on the team in receiving yards. Very, very well-rounded back. I've been harping on him as a great alternative to the Cam Scadaboo era. I mean, I guess a great conductor to push the offense forward. And Raleek Brown really showed off his explosiveness. He showed off the ability to run downhill and be a tough runner despite his frame. We all saw that with the 6-yard touchdown. He scored the very first touchdown of the Arizona State season. He just ran in between the tackles, showed a couple of nifty moves, and powered his way into the end zone. And He averaged 7.6 yards a carry. He only got 5 carries, and he caught 3 passes. It would have been 4 if not for the penalty that got called back. But he showed his true ability as a dual threat back, and that was great for Arizona State. Even though the offense wasn't smooth sailing, it wasn't smooth sailing for the offense for a large part of the night. They flashed the high end ability to be an elite offense in the Big 12 and nationally as well. The Sun Devils are in a great spot. There are some concerns heading into week 2 against an SEC opponent. But overall, the Sun Devils still should be looking at entering Big 12 play with a 3-0 record. And I will be covering the game against Mississippi State this Saturday. And I am so grateful to be covering Arizona State football every single day for you, because of you, and by you. And that is all for today. Thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow.